his eye drops because he's an insomniac and can't sleep. And the movie itself is also like the way that it moves, it's so confused and unhinged and fast. Like it feels like it's half awake half the time. But he'll take like eye drops and then it will cut to like ants crawling on the corpses of an eyeball, the same. And it'll like merge those two shots together, or cutting between him having sex with his wife and then imagining
being totally
like,
distracted.
Yeah, well, and her hand turning into like X-ray shots from a hand, which then become the actual X-ray shots from like the case at work.
Yeah,
and you know, like it's just
all melting together, and he can't really focus on what he probably should be focusing on. And I also really
and the editing is just amazing.
Oh yeah, it's so great, and it's really like fluid. I love all this the shots where he. Like he'll be talking to her over the phone or something like that, but then he imagines himself actually in the room, and so the camera will place him in the room, but the
audio stays the same. Is my favorite detail.
So
of
there's
that.
still like a distance between them, or you know, or the fact that she has to use a translator sometimes. It's like they can't quite communicate the way. Yeah, because
she's Chinese and he's Korean, so there is like a little bit of wordplay, and you know, there's also an implication that like the old school noirs, he's partially attracted to her because she's beautiful and foreign and mysterious. There's a little bit of that angle to it.
Yeah, and I like the elements of technology, like even the way the filmmaking is. With the digital technology, there's like, you know, there's digital zooms, and they do things with kind of like CGI that you wouldn't necessarily be able to capture on film, and that I really did like.
There's a hyper digital craziness to it.
Oh,
for sure.
Yeah, like they do a bunch of shots. One of my favorite aspects of the filmmaking and the camera work in particular was all of the POVs of things that are like dead or inanimate objects. Like they have POVs of, there's one great fisheye lens where it's literally a dead fish and it's looking at them, or at least the camera is in the eye. And what he does is he still puts like some of the pink, you know, muscles or whatever that would be around the eye within like the frame itself on the lens. Yeah, he does a really cool thing where the guy he'll look at his phone because he's texting a lot in the film, and it'll be from the actual point of view of inside the phone. So the time on the phone will be like mirrored and kind of flipped and looking at him as he's like pressing buttons and stuff. There's one part too, and this is more of a character thing, I guess, where it shows him texting and he's replying to like each paragraph that pops up. But then she'll keep saying things, and every single time that she says something, he changes his response to try to like keep it going.
And you're literally watching him try to text her in real time. It's actually surprisingly like thrilling, considering you're watching a guy just like texting someone on his iPhone.
Yeah, because you're watching just his kind of his brain work, like what the steps he's trying to take, what he thinks he needs to say as soon as the conversation progresses at least a little bit, because you know, and it happens. It's a pretty long shot. Like she sends like 6 different paragraphs, and every single time he's sending something different, trying to, you know, I guess channel this the way that he wants to. So it's I loved all those aspects of it.
Yeah, well, and there's one amazing overlay where like it's like a shot of his face and his eyes, and the overlay is that we're looking through his phone screen. And it's just a huge close up of the 3 dots that like she's typing.
Yeah.
And he's just like, he's so fucking stoked about whatever it is that she's gonna say. Like he legitimately can't wait, which is such a cool thing, because we know, and I don't think he knows exactly at that moment yet, but he suspects that she could be the killer. And totally, by the middle point, it is confirmed that she was the killer, essentially. And it does break his heart to learn that, because one, he solved the case. The case is over. Now he has to arrest her. And this sort of foreplay that they are having, where it was ambiguous, that's what they're both really attracted to and what they both really are into, which is like his first meeting with her, for example. He's meeting with the wife of a dead man who, you know, supposedly abused her. And we find out later she might have been, or she might have also done some of it to herself, because there was some elements where she was like making it look like her partner like destroyed her apartment when he didn't and stuff. Like she's a pretty smooth criminal operator when she gets to, you know, reveal how it is that she like faked his suicide letter and all the various things that she did. But before we learn that about her, he's just entranced by how beautiful she is and how she appears kind of tired and tortured and kind of messy. And the interrogation sequence with her, where she like laughs at one point during the interrogation, which everyone else on the case is put off by, but he's not.
Of course.
And it turns into this like bizarre date between them, where he's like sensually taking photos of like her domestic abuse bruises, like, which is just like such a perverse idea. And then like voyeuristically spying on her in her apartment, and as Jamie put it, like literally fantasizing about himself being in the same room as her as he talks on the phone, even though the audio's staying the same. But then there's the part where she's playing this romantic song that she likes to listen to, and it literally, the editing plays it over top of him tailing her in the car, like like the tailing sequence in like Vertigo or something like that. And yeah, like just all of these details continue to build, where he's slowly, and the movie is subjectively getting you swept up in the headspace of someone who is just completely hypnotized by this woman.
Yes.
And yeah, in that respect, it's incredibly effective, and actually does kind of make it heartbreaking when, you know, it is revealed that, you know, she is a little bit more of a dark operator than he expected, and is, you know, really good at manipulating people. And honestly, he feels a little bit manipulated by her. Yep. Because there's a certain point where they reveal that, you know, she knows she's being watched. I love the gag where she goes out of her apartment in the morning and finds him like asleep in his car.